Hi everyone, my name is Rachel and welcome to the French Seams. Thanks very much for joining me for this week's Friday Sews video where I talk about what I have been sewing, what I will be sewing and a little bit of life as well. So as always, a huge thank you to Jen from Today and Jen Seringham who basically invented the Friday Sews format, so thank you. So it's been about 3 weeks since my last Friday Sews videos, but I haven't been that absent because you got a November and December makes video from me, which I'll pop a card up here and link to below, where I basically went through everything I made in November and December. Spoiler alert, it's a bumper vlog, but I loved filming it. And then I also released a collaboration video, which I did with the very lovely Becky from Notes from a Sewing Room, where we both made the Zoe sweatshirt for ourselves and for our children, which I loved doing. So again, I'll pop up a card here and pop it in the link in the description box below, along with Becky's video. I loved doing that collaboration and I loved making that sweatshirt. It was really, really good fun, a really, really nice pattern. I would highly recommend it. So I made those ones for us for Christmas. I've since made another one, which I'm wearing in my makes video. So yeah, it's just a great pattern and it was a really, really fun collaboration. So I did have great intentions of coming to you last week with a Friday Sews video, but I ended up slumped on the couch with Baby French Seams watching The Little Mermaid. So that's how my last week has gone. Baby French Seams was poorly, then he gave it to me, thank you very much. I recovered, he still had it, then he gave it back to me. He's now better, I'm still lingering along with it. So the usual, will I put on my usual record, will I? Mr. French Seams has been travelling, Baby French Seams has been poorly. But anyway, this is basically going to happen, I think, until at least May, because the weather is just dire. Everybody's getting sick. We all avoided it at Christmas, so yeah, our luck ran out, but we're all fine. We're all absolutely fine, thank goodness. So moving along, shall we? Well, I'll let you know what I've been getting up to over the past 3 weeks. So when I left you the last time, it was just after New Year, so I was catching up on all the Christmas bits and pieces. Life has kind of returned to normal now with school and with creche and with classes and with work and all that good stuff, which has been great. And I have, of course, been doing lots of lovely sewing and shopping. So I did make reference the last time that I had done a bumper order with Dreesenstoffen, so I will talk more about that later because that fabric had arrived. So thank you for bearing with me on the last video where I kind of hypothetically, theoretically showed you what I was going to be making. So yeah, those have been made. I shall show you later. The other thing I have been purchasing was, and this is entirely related to the fact that I saw Wicked in the cinema a few weeks ago and it was absolutely brilliant. If you watch my channel for any length of time, you'll know that I absolutely love Wicked. I've been to see it loads and loads of times. The musical version, the Broadway version I should say, I went to it most recently in September in Dublin. It was fabulous. But then the movie came out and I think it came out in November and I was very, very late to this party to go and see it in the cinema, which is very unlike me. But I finally got around to seeing it a few weeks ago and it was absolutely fabulous. To say I thoroughly enjoyed it, I was buzzing coming out of the cinema. It was just marvellous. I saw it with a friend of mine who is equally as excited about Wicked, which was wonderful, and we both had the best time. And a few days later, I was scrolling on Instagram, as you do, and the Fabric Mama popped up with their pre-orders and one caught my eye because it was a kind of a Wicked inspired fabric. I'll pop in a picture here. I had to buy it. It is just the cutest thing. So I think I bought a metre of this. I think it's a cotton jersey and I think that's going to be delivered sometime in March and I think that would make a very, very cute t-shirt. But I think I was still kind of buzzing after seeing Wicked in the cinema and then that fabric popped up, so I was a complete captive audience, so of course I had to buy that. So I don't have it to show you. When it arrives I will show it to you. But I think that's kind of all the stuff I've been buying. I don't think I've done any more purchasing. I did do a bumper order of a lot of free patterns, so one of which I want to make over the next few weeks, which I'll show you. There's some, or two actually that I want to make. There's some really, really great ones out there. I'll link a few below. But yes, I've kind of just been browsing, getting into the new year, getting set back on my sewing for this year, what I'd like to do. I don't do a make 9, I haven't for a long, long time. The last one I tried to do was in 2018 and that just never got off the ground. And yeah, I'm such a magpie and I'll flit between things throughout the year. So I'm far happier to have my projects and my fabric and my plans that have happened kind of organically throughout the year. So basically, I don't know what I'll get up to this year, but I'm excited to bring you along with me. So anyway, that's what I've been doing over the past few weeks. What have I been sewing? So I shall start straight away. So as you know, I go to the local library with my boys most weeks. They get lovely books. It's a fabulous library. We're very, very lucky. But they do have lovely crafting section. And I took out 2 books for myself. I took out the So Eco-Friendly book by Debbie Shore, and I took out Bags, it's just called Bags, by Anna Alicia. So I was quite taken by a few of the patterns in those bags and I thought I'd get them made up. I think it's really nice you can get these books from your local library. So the first one is seasonally inappropriate. It was seasonally inappropriate when I made it about 3 weeks ago. Now it's even more seasonally inappropriate, so I do apologise, but it's a little stocking. And apologies, I might have to stop to cough. So this is a little stocking pattern, and this one is from the Debbie Shore book, and it's called a stocking gift bag, and it's adorable. So I was just using up bits and pieces of scraps, and you might remember that as my Christmas skirt. The fabric, this kind of I think they call it eyelash fabric, which is really cool. I made a grenadine skirt out of this, and I have a little bit left over. But I thought it would make a really cool little trim on a stocking. So these are all just leftover odds and sods, but it's a really, really cute pattern. So it's got a drawstring at the top, and then it's fully lined on the inside. And as a little gift bag, I thought it would be adorable. So I am planning to make a load more of these next year. You can scale them up, scaling them down. I think it'd be quite straightforward to do. She does give a template for the stocking, and the rest you just cut out, but I think it might be quite easy just to scale it up. And these are going to be my gift bags for next Christmas. I think they're very cute, and I think this makes a lovely trim, so I'll definitely be using that in the future. The only change I would make is that this isn't lined, so that's just turned over the top. So you could do something just to line that, but it's not a big deal. But I think as a little project, I think this is very, very cute. So that was my first little make. My second make was, and you can kind of tell that I've been using the same fabric on all of these. The next one, and this is from, as I de-fluff it, I apologise. You'll see later why my sewing arm is covered in fluff. This is from the Anna Alicia book called Bags, and it is a drawstring travel bag. So this is the fabulous pink glittery fabric that I picked up in Abacan when I was there at the retreat last November. I just love this. It was in their kind of like weighing section, and I got a ton of this, and I've used it on so many projects. I absolutely love it. But it's basically a travel bag to carry all your bottles, and I've used it since I've made it, and it is just brilliant. So you can see the inside there. So it's got a drawstring top, pulls like this. It's a lovely boxed out bottom, and then I'm actually, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn it inside out because that'll show you better. So this is the inside, and the inside is more glittery fabric that was left over from my quilt, my ribbon box quilt that I made last year. And then it's got all these little bits. So this is just fabric. I think I got this in the Crafty studio a long time ago actually. So it's full of these little pockets all their end. You can make them as big or as small as you like, and I think it's just really, really clever. It does a wadding in it, so it's quite substantial. Actually, this is wadding and this is wadding, so it's quite substantial, which is why it can stand up all by its own self. So then if I turn it again the right side, so I was visiting family recently, and I was able to bring this because it fits deodorant, it fits shower gel, it fits toothpaste, it fits electric toothbrush, it fits glasses case, whatever else I brought. It was really, really handy because of all those bottles. They take up an awful lot of space in a bag, so I think if you can stack them all here together and have a pretty little bag, it's just genius. So I loved making this. The instructions were middling, but they were okay. We got there in the end. Some of the instructions I found quite confusing, and you know, you're going through it going, I don't think if this will go to work, but it did in the end. The finish on this drawstring bit isn't great. I might do a little bit of a change on the next time I make it, but yeah, I think it's a really, really cute pattern. So I would encourage you, if you're like me, you have a local library, go and get it there. Sewing books, it's really, really good. Which reminds me, I need to bring them back now. So the next thing I want to talk about is a fabulous new pattern. So you know how much I love the lovely Adam Sews patterns. So he very kindly gave me this as a pre-release. So I did made up, and I was so excited to show everybody. I've dropped something that I want to show you later, bear with me. Right, pick that up. So this is a new pattern by Adam Sews. He released 3 patterns very, very recently. He released this one, which is a sofa tidy. He released a backpack, and he released a duffel bag, and they are just fabulous. I'll link all of them below. Brilliant. I just absolutely adore his patterns, and his sewing is just immaculate. So this is the sofa tidy, and I think I made reference to it a few weeks ago that I was working on something top secret, and I was so excited to show you, but this is it, and it's going to be utterly impossible to show you on screen, but I shall try my best. So if I pretend I'm a sofa seat, so you put it on the edge of your couch or your sofa, and it's for all your hand sewing bits. So I've got bits in here if I'm doing little hexies, I've got little bits if I'm doing bits of hand sewing. You've got a load of pockets here to keep scissors, to keep projects, all that kind of good stuff. Then you've also got a little pin cushion, which is adorable. These are all held on by snaps, by the way, so they're removable even. And then on this side, it's got more lovely pockets, and it's got this really ingenious ribbon that goes across here. For this, I used webbing, and then I covered it with green ribbon, and I covered it with pink ribbon just because it matched. And that's where you keep your little needle tidies. So these are little magnets. This is the Beyond the Pink Door Generates one. I think I got this from Crafty Studio, and it's where you keep these. If you're doing your hand sewing, you can keep your needles. So you can keep all your clips here as well. Absolutely brilliant. You can keep all your clips in here. Keep your snacks in here, keep all your bits and pieces, all your projects, all your snips, all your scissors, everything you might need. It's just brilliant. And I love this because I do cross stitch on the couch, I do EPP, I finish off, if I'm making a quilt, I always hand finish the binding by hand. So to have all my clips here, it would just be brilliant because I clip all the binding and then I hand sew it all. So I've got my needle minders, I've got a pin cushion, just brilliant. And hopefully I'm doing it justice. I will pop in a proper picture of it here. So it's fully bound, so it looks really, really neat and pretty. The back is so the fabric, I should say, is teal pink, and it's quilted, and then you just add on these panels, and it's just a fabulous, fabulous pattern. I absolutely love it, and I think it's really, really cool. So I put on 2 labels, one here that's from Beyond the Pink Door that says the bee's knees, and then this one I was absolutely delighted to finally get a chance to use it, hopefully nothing will fall out, is this. It's a little patch and it looks like a little sewing box. I got this in the Kyle in the Machine advent calendar. It must be about 2 or 3 years ago, and I've always wondered what to do with it, so I'm so delighted that it's finally found its destiny. But yeah, fabulous, fabulous pattern, really, really nice, and I would highly recommend you checking out all his lovely patterns. So that's my sofa tidy, which I absolutely love, so I pop it down here. The next thing I got made up, I was on such a crafty kick recently, I really, really was. I didn't get kind of into garment sewing in 2025 until basically this week. So the next thing I made, and I have been talking about it for the longest time, is my Atlas zipper pouch, and this is by Centre Street Quilts, and I've been talking about this for a long, long, long time because I was waiting for bag foam. It finally arrived, so I was waiting for bag foam to get it started, and I'm happy to say that I have made it. And you can tell that I've just been using the same fabric for everything because I've just got a bulk of fabric. My lovely aunt gave me a ton of her fabric, which has been marvelous. So she gave me all this lovely gingham stuff, which I love. It's really cool to cut on the bias. So this is the Centre Street Quilts Atlas zipper pouch. So it reminds me of when I was little, when you used to have these little pencil cases filled with markers. So it's got a bit of kind of a nostalgia for me. So this is it. I've got a really cool little label here. I got this in a fabric shop in the centre of Dublin called Cloth. Just picked up there a good few years ago, and it's just an R&R1. It just says handmade, but I thought it looked quite nice. It's got a nice zip tab, really funky gold zipper, and then on the inside, this is what it looks like. Apologies for the shine. So it's got this big vinyl pocket here, and then it's got a pocket on the inside, it's got a pocket on the inside here. This top pocket is vinyl, and then this lower pocket is fabric, but of course you could do it either way, whichever you prefer. So I did all this nice kind of gingham-y stuff, and then I've got the pink, so it's kind of pink hues. It's kind of reminiscent a little bit of The Wizard of Oz, which I love. So basically this is it, and I think it's really, really cool. It's all quilted. The instructions on this are really, really good. The Centre Street instructions are very, very good, and I just really enjoyed making it. So what I have been using this for, actually, instead of for sewing supplies, which I think is what is meant to be used for, so say you could add in your rotary cutter in here, for example. It would fit perfectly. I have been using it as a travel bag because I've been doing a bit of travel recently, and I will be doing a bit of travel over the next few months. Just a short hop travel, more on that later. But I think this would be perfect because I can put my Kindle in here, I can put my passport in here, I can put my phone, I can put lip balm, all that kind of stuff if you're going on a plane, and it all folds up very, very nicely. And then the zip goes all the way around the edge, just like these little pencil cases. So this is the Atlas zipper pouch. I'm so delighted that I finally got this done because I've been talking about it for months. So that's another little crafty make I got made up. So what have I been getting up to garment wise? So I showed you the last time that I had a few plans for the fabric that I recently got from Dreesenstoffen, so that did arrive, delighted. So I'll show you the 3 things I've got made up. So the first one is what I'm wearing, and this is of course another Ressac sweatshirt from Maison Fauve. This is my second, and this is in a beautiful kind of minty colour. I think this is a very kind of spring colour, which I love. It's a Ressac sweatshirt. It's got these beautiful darts here. It's got the really cool panels under the arms. That's actually ribbing, and then at the bottom it's got a lovely pocket, and the pocket is fully lined, and the ribbing of course goes around here, and then you've got ribbing at the back, and then the sweatshirt at the front. The lovely label there, this is handmade, which I love, and of course my Ash jeans, obviously, because I don't go anywhere without them. So absolutely love this sweatshirt. I've made one before in beautiful bluey and glittery fabric from the Crafty Studio, and oh, the sun has come out. And this is from Dreesenstoffen. It's their sweat fabric, so it's really really lovely. Apologies, frog in my throat. Really lovely and fleecy. I went digging through fabric yesterday, and there was a pin in there, so I scratched on my hand. Apologies. So it's beautiful. It's almost kind of spongy fabric, but it's lovely to work with, really easy to cut, really easy to sew, and super comfy to wear. And then I've got ribbing which matches Kind of. So I absolutely love this sweatshirt. It comes together really, really quickly. I watched the video instructions, which I found really useful, and I make a size 40 grading to a 42. I did take out a bit of width in this version, so it does have a centre back seam, and I cut out a tiny wedge out of that just to make it a little bit more close fitting. I found my other one was gapping slightly. So this just has a slightly closer fit, but I really, really like it. I don't add anything to the sleeve length. I don't add anything to the bodice length, and I just love this sweatshirt so much. So it's a raglan sweatshirt here, and I just think the fit is lovely, and I love being so cozy in this sweatshirt. So the next thing I got made up was also a sweat fabric. I just love it. I'm going to buy it in all the colours, and it is this. So this is covered in muck apparently. This is a, isn't that weird the way that stain is coming out on camera but it's not in real life? I have no idea what that is. Anyway, moving on, I might throw this in the wash afterwards. This is the South Bank sweatshirt, or South Bank dress I should say, by Nina Lee. I have no idea how it took me so long to come to make this pattern. It is fabulous. I always thought, oh, I have the Billy, which is kind of the same, I won't bother doing this one. How wrong was I? This is fabulous. I absolutely love it. It's so quick to come together, despite the fact that I have lost my overlocker tweezers, so I now have to thread it manually, which is really tricky, and I did break a needle, so I had to rethread it twice or even 3 times to make this. Oh lordy. But despite that, it takes about 45 minutes to cut and sew. It's fabulous. So it has a lovely kind of turtleneck here, which isn't as high as a toaster sweater, and I was worried that I wouldn't like it not being as high, but I love it. It's got satin sleeves. I left off the pockets, and then it's got a band on the bottom, and I absolutely love it. I added 1.5 inches to the sleeve length, which is perfect, and I added 2 inches to the length of the dress. So it's still a little bit short, but hopefully I can get away with it. So it does come up quite short, so I'm 5'9", so if I hadn't added on those 2 inches, it would have been rather short. And then I popped a little Rosy Cheeks label saying, dream it, want it, go for it. So I just adore this, and I now really, really want to make 17 more of these. I think a black version would be beautiful, and yeah, I just think it's the best pattern. I absolutely love it, and I can't believe it's taken me this long to make it. So that was that, the South Bank. The last thing I got made up, and whoops, the last thing I got made up was for my sainted husband, Mr. French Seams. So I don't make him, I caught that like a ninja. I don't make him stuff very often, and I always then feel guilty that I should make him more. But I did mention the last time that he had bought a sweatshirt for himself before Christmas with a 1/4 zip, and he seemed to really, really like that style. And of course I thought I could definitely make that. So I don't think it's quite as high quality as the one that he bought, but anyway. So I bought this fabric in Jason Stoffen, and I wanted to get grey French terry. So the French terry arrived, and it was quite thin. So I was quite concerned that it was going to be too thin for this kind of sweatshirt. It's bordering on cotton jersey weight, which is fine, but I wanted the stability of the 1/4 zip. So anyway, I thought I'd try it. I thought I'd try it as a toile. I don't make him too many clothes, and I do take measurements and stuff, but it's very, very tricky. I think you know your own measurements. It's very different for somebody else. So this is the Arctic sweatshirt from Ellie & Mac that I got recently. So I'd really wanted to make him the zip version. So it just has cuffs at the bottom, and it has a hemband at the end. And then of course it does have your little zip going down here. So I took his measurements, and I thought it'd be kind of a medium large, and then I cut this up, and then I kind of basted the shell of it, and the large was still quite big, so I took a little bit by the side seams, but I still think it's going to be a little bit large. So I'm going to get him to try it on later and see how we go, and I shall report back. I'm hoping he likes it, but as I say, it's kind of a toile. So it doesn't have a label. I didn't bind the neckline, any of those kind of things, so the next time I make it I definitely will. What I want to do is bind the neckline all the way around so it comes to here, which I think it does on his other version. I will of course use matching thread on the inside of the zip, which was a completely rookie mistake, so I'll do that the next time. It's a continuous zip, which was slightly trickier because at the top, of course, it doesn't have a stopper. So my baby French Seams the other night at dinner was wearing a lovely half zip sweatshirt that we got him for Christmas, and I literally was investigating how they stopped the zip at the top. He was trying to eat his dinner. I was like, no, let me have a look at your zip. And they had little stoppers, so I just added little fabric stoppers on the top, which prevents the zip from coming off the top. So then you top stitch all around here, and then it's just kind of like almost like a welt zip, which is okay. The instructions on this to put in the zip, I think, just a personal opinion, is overly complicated. So the way they just say, oh, a 7 to 9 inch zip, and then they get you to basically take out your calculator and measure the distance from here to here, and then subtract the seam allowance, and then measure the distance from here to here and subtract the seam allowance, and measure your zip, and da da da. just say it's a 9-inch zip and just put a marking on the pattern to say stop zip here. I think would make life much easier for everybody involved. But that aside, it was fine and we got through it. But I think it looks quite nice with a continuous zip, which I love using. I don't really buy pre-made zips anymore. While we're on the topic of colours, I forgot to mention about the neckband on this. So I think I put in this neckband 4 times. So I followed the pattern and I cut it the exact same dimensions as I cut my previous versions, and this stood out. So proud. I ended up having to take about 2 inches off this neckband to get it to sit relatively flat. It's not perfect. You can see the little buckles here. So I might unpick it, I might not. And I did buy the neckline, this one obviously with little heart music notes from Specky Seams, just popping a picture here. But the neckband is a bit funny, and usually I have quite good success with neckbands, but this one just didn't want to sit right at all. Very, very strange. Anyway, back to this. So I do like how it came out. I think it looks quite nice. I did manage to line these up nicely, and then the rest of it, once you have the collar and the zip put in, absolutely fine. You do have to stitch in the ditch here, which actually is relatively okay. Use a matching thread and it covers a multitude. And then of course once you set in the sleeves and the cuffs and hembands and everything, that's very, very, very quick. Again, this all came from Driesenstoffen. Not the best matching ribbing and fabric, but never mind. So I would like to make in this again, depending on the fit, and I think I'll make it in this spongy sweat, which I just love. So yeah, this is my husband's Arctic sweatshirt, and I hope he likes it. So that was my garment sewing, getting back into it, which was great. So what are my plans? Everything falls off, I'm sorry. I'm so out of practice. I'm getting really tired now with my lovely cold. But anyway, we'll keep on trucking. So, plans. So, if you have been watching my vlog and watching the vlog of other very, very lovely YouTubers, my lovely friends, we are doing a collaboration. And the collaboration is to make the Styla Taos sweatshirt. And the people involved in that collaboration are Katherine, Over to Makery, Angela Devon Threadtails, Tania, Just Let Me Sew, and Mandy, Make It Sew, and maybe Sam Silla Sparkle. We're not quite sure. We always have to put in that caveat. So we're making this sweatshirt, which looks really, really cool. Bang on trend. It's everywhere on my Instagram now, popping up. So raglan oversized sweatshirt, lovely stand-up collar, and then it's got a lovely placket, and it's got a little pocket here with a zip, and then it's got lovely zip well pockets and a drawstring waist, and it looks really, really cool. And so I'm working on that in the background, and we're going to be showing that in the not too distant future. But the fabric for that, and I hadn't actually shown you the last time because I wasn't quite sure did I have enough fabric, but I did, and I'm delighted. So my fabric is this. This is just unreal fabric. So it's a quilted denim with a Sherpa back, and I have my very lovely friend Grania to thank for this. So thank you so much, Gro. She is Pretty and Pinkable on Instagram. So I've met her a good few times between retreats and frocktails and events and all kinds of stuff, and she is just marvellous. She's utterly brilliant, and her sister usually comes along, Maria. The two girls are just fabulous. So I think it was before afternoon tea frocktails in Dublin last year, she messaged me saying, I have this fabric left over, would you like some? So I took this, and then I took another greeny geometric one, which I have plans for, which I'll show you over the next few weeks. And I took this one, and there was a remnant of this left over from the most fabulous coat she made. So I had this in the back of my mind when we were talking about the Styla Taos sweatshirt. And I was thinking, will I have enough? So there was a larger piece and this small piece rolled up. So I did a good bit of pattern Tetris, and it did actually work. I was utterly delighted. So my Taos is going to be made out of this, and then the accent fabric, you're just going to have to wait and see. But spoiler alert, yes, it's Tula. Anyway. So this is the most fabulous Sherpa fleece, which is why my sewing room is covered in fluff. I look like I've been in the National Sheep Shearing Championships. So this fabric is just fabulous, and it's actually very, very easy to sew with. What I did was when I cut out my pieces, I overlocked it with the right side up all the way along the edge, which kind of sheared off the fluff. So everything was overlocked, and then it went through my sewing machine fine, which was great. So as part of my plans, I have this little section left over. I am going to make slippers. So I think I showed you before that I am wearing Grinch slippers, which I bought from Aldi for about €7. And I wear slippers probably for 18 hours a day. Working from home, we don't wear shoes in the house, so I'm wearing slippers all the time, and they wear it very, very quickly. So as part of my free pattern troll the other day, I came across the Whittaker slippers, and they are from Petite Stitchery, which I'm very into these days. So this is Whittaker slippers. So you basically get a foot and a top bit, and I have loads left over to make slippers out of this, which is going to be really, really cool. So I measured my feet. Apologies to people who don't have my feet. I come out as an adult small, which I really, really like because I'm a size 8 and usually I'm at the larger end, so I was delighted to be called an adult small. Absolutely delighted. But I will never fall over. So I'm going to make them out of this, so I don't have to line them, I don't have to quilt them, which is great. I just have to bind them. As you know, I love binding. And actually, where's it gone? I bought an awl recently, which has basically changed my life. So apologies, I'm jumping over topics here. Where did it go? I want to show you this because it has just been fabulous. So I bought this a little while ago from, that looked very threatening, no, I bought this from Vibes and Scribes, and it's this little pokey thing and you use it to help with your binding, and it is just fabulous. So I'd highly encourage anybody to, if you want to up your binding game, check out an awl. So I just need to bind these, which is fine. The only thing I did need was the anti-slip sole, because I do not want to take a hopper going down the stairs wearing these. So I put out a shout out on Instagram because the hive mind is marvellous, and you lovely people came up trumps and said that Ecobee has some of that anti-slip. It's the kind of the little bobbly stuff that you have on the bottom of your slippers so you don't fall over. So I've ordered some of that, and hopefully that'll arrive over the next few days, and I'll get started on my Whittaker slippers. And if I can make my own slippers, fabulous. Right, so that was one plan. The last plan I wanted to make is, and these are crafty as well, it's Valentine's Day coming up. I love Valentine's Day, I always have. And baby French Seams' birthday is in February as well, so we always kind of, it always kind of goes hand in hand. My older boy's birthday is in October, so he loves his birthday because it's next to Halloween. My younger boy loves his birthday because it's next to Valentine's Day. So I found another free pattern, and it is called the, as I check my notes, it's called the Heart Zip Pouch, and it's by Patterns for Pirates. So I'll pop in a picture here, and I also found a pattern which isn't free, but I might investigate as well, and it's the Heartbeat Pouch, and that's by Centre Street Quilt. So as you know now, I do admire their work, and I thought these would be really, really cute for Valentine's Day. So I went through my cotton stash, my bag making, my crafting stash, and I came up trumps with all these. These are all my pink and red fabrics. So this is really cool vinyl I got at the Knitting and Stitching in Belfast last year, and then these are all my pinky, reddy, Valentine's-y fabrics, which I'm very, very excited. So hopefully I'll make a couple of little pouches. So I don't have any dressmaking plans apart from the collaboration. They're more kind of crafty, which, as you know, I love. I'm just going to let things happen organically. If something comes out, I might jump in it, but we'll see how we go. So that was basically my last 3 weeks of sewing. So if you do spot anything that you think I may like, please let me know. So I think that's the end of the video. Apologies that it went much longer than I thought it would. When I start talking, I just tend to ramble, and I do apologise. I haven't really talked about my sewing in 3 weeks. So yes, you're now my captive audience, and I can tell you everything that I've been getting up to because my husband's eyes glaze over. Hopefully he'll forgive me when he sees his new jumper. Right, so I shall leave it there for now. Thank you very, very much for joining me. I hope you're all well. I hope you're all safe. If you like this video, I would very much love it if you give me a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing. I am so close to 7,000 subscribers. So close. So, and I know that there's people who watch here that aren't subscribed, so just hit that little subscription button and hit the bell to be notified when I put out a video, all that good stuff. I would love it. And you and I can plan something nice for 7,000 subscribers. So thank you very, very much for joining me as always. I hope you all have a lovely, lovely weekend. Please stay safe, and I will catch you all again very soon in another video. Take care, everyone. Bye.